UNC versus Notre Dame, one of the ACC battles in the Elite Eight. But Jordan Schultz, a lot of people at North Carolina at this point. Notre Dame, consecutive Elite Eights for the first time since 1978-79. Big picture, what do you see?
The brutality of the ACC, Steve. We know how good this league is. It's even better with expansion, but that's a story for a different
Totally
day.
different conversation.
And then I think the offenses are both great, especially North Carolina's. The biggest question mark is, can Notre Dame keep the Tar Heels in a 40-minute game in the half court?
Who is the biggest X-factor player for either team?
I would look at Demetrius Jackson, the second-team All-ACC point guard for the Irish.
Why?
He's the one guy athletically that can match North Carolina. Now, he hasn't had a great, necessarily, tournament per se, at least against Wisconsin, efficiency-wise, but he's so much more than just a scorer. He's a distributor. He affects the game defensively. He gets into gaps. And when Notre Dame beat Carolina earlier this year, they only had 2 turnovers in the regular season win. If he can keep that number down, they have a shot.
And he has some momentum coming off that finish against Wisconsin. 19 points in the win for Notre Dame against UNC, 9 in the blowout loss on 1 of 10 shooting. So now your prediction, UNC or Notre Dame?
I like the Heels. I do think it's going to be closer than it was when the Heels throttled Notre Dame in the ACC tournament. I think Notre Dame's going to come to play. Mike Bray's talked about destiny all year, and they believe they can win this game. But I think Marcus Page is the guy that can maybe contain Jackson a little bit. He's playing his best basketball. He's 100% healthy. The senior had a great career, as we know. And I think he's, if he can play the pick and roll game with Jackson and Hicks and Meeks and get those guys going, then it's an entirely different story for the North Carolina offense. He was able to do that, scored their first 14 points against Indiana, goes 5 for 5 from the floor. And I look at him. He's a big reason why they go 11 of 20 from 3 versus Indiana, because he's so versatile with what he can do offensively in the transition game as well. I like the way Page is playing. And then Jackson. I mean, you look at Jackson coming off screens. He's not a great shooter, under 30% from 3 on the year, but he is the one guy for Carolina lengthwise, athletically, that Notre Dame just doesn't have anybody that can match up with. So those 2 guys, for me, the reason the Heels march on.
And you mentioned Page in the blowout win over the Hoosiers. He passed a guy whose initials are M and J for 12th on UNC's all-time scoring list.
We know about it.
I think it's pretty good. An X-factor for Jordan Schultz and a predicted victory for UNC over Notre Dame in the Elite Eight.